do a surgeon, a clarinetist, and a sculptor have in common? This is not classic humor. This is our guest. I am certainly curious to learn what makes a pioneering surgeon, an accomplished sculptor, and an enthralling clarinetist all in one. A person who generally loves life and shares his talents with people all over the world. So let's ask 10 questions to my extraordinary guest, Dr. Nadey Hakim.
Thank you, Patricia. Very kind of you to have invited me.
Dr. Nadey, I really appreciate you coming here. And I told you before it was difficult to write a couple of words as an introduction for such an accomplished person as you are.
You're very kind. Thank you so much.
So I guess it all started in childhood. This is kind of like a chicken and the egg question. How did you start? What came first? Like, you're not going to be a doctor when you're a child, but maybe you had medical ambitions. What came first? The medical ambitions, the music?
Actually, it's a very good question. As you well know, my surname is Hakim, which means doctor.
Yeah.
Or more precisely, a wise man.
Right.
And since I was a kid, I remember 4 or 5 year old, I always told my father, I want to become a doctor. Actually, I want to become a surgeon.
Oh, okay.
Because of the fact that, our name is Hakim, although none of my siblings became a doctor.
Right.
But I don't know, for some reason, I wanted to become a doctor. So this is one thing, which always, there was nothing else which could have interested me as such as a profession. Having said that, so the answer to your question, I come from a very musical family. My mother was a pianist. My father played the mandolin very well.
Your mom was self-taught.
Self-taught, exactly. Yeah. And she is now 96 and she still plays, believe it or not.
Oh, she does?
Yeah, and she still plays. So we ended up, each of us, learning the piano to start with.
Yeah.
But then my older brother, Naji, who became a very famous organist in Paris now, he was obviously much better than all of us. So he occupied the piano 24/7.
Oh, so he took it over.
Exactly. So we had to choose another instrument, each of us.
Right.
So I selected the clarinet, actually advised by my brother. He said, why don't you try the clarinet?
Oh, really? He advised you to choose the clarinet?
He advised me because he was older than me. He knew more of the music and instruments available in the orchestra. So I chose the clarinet, and I took up the clarinet at age 10 or 11 when I was in Lebanon, and I went to the conservatoire in Paris, in Beirut, and I built it up. And then when I ended up going to Paris in 75 or 76 to go into medical school, I in parallel went to the École Normale de Musique of Paris.
Really? You were able to do both at once?
I did both at the same time, yes. So I was taking lessons at the École Normale and doing my medical studies. So then obviously I concentrated on my medical school, and I was very fortunate to be accepted in Paris, and I graduated. Luckily, I was then honored by becoming a lauréat de la Faculté de Médecine, which is a great honor by the end of my medical school. So this is what I've done as a medical school and clarinet as such.
That must have been a beautiful environment at home to grow up in.
Yeah, we had a semi-orchestra at home. I remember very well when we were, just before the war, the Revue du Liban, I remember, came to interview us, and I still have the picture of us all, 4 kids and my father and mother, all in one picture, playing, and they called the Hakim Orchestra. So I remember that very well.
Your sister played the guitar?
She played the guitar. My older brother played the trumpet.
Right.
And my second brother, Naji, he became, as I mentioned earlier,
an organist,
a professional musician.
That's a beautiful orchestra. So what made you decide in your medical studies, what made you decide to go into the specialty of organ transplants? That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but, I have a very optimistic mind. I chose a specialty which is truly a very optimistic one, meaning within hours or 2-3 hours of transplanting an organ, you are really saving someone who is possibly going to die, or at least be on a dialysis machine for life. And then within 2-3 hours, you give them a kidney, and they are off dialysis. They are able to live the way we both live normally.
Wow.
So this is why it's an optimistic specialty, unlike oncology, which is dealing with cancer, unlike neurosurgery, which is always pessimistic. You have to open the brain to remove a tumor. So think about it. The transplantation is only optimistic. You can only make people better. And this is why I love it. And I feel that over the years, now I've been doing it for so many years, every time I do a transplant, I plant a small seed which grows. And this is why 25, 30 years later, when I see the patient still with the same organ doing well.
It can last that long, right?
It can last even much longer.
Okay, because it's a very delicate surgery at the same time. And the after surgery, isn't it like it takes
but
time
when you do a good job, to be honest, when you do and we will talk about it later when we speak about art and sculpting, when you do what I would call a beautiful surgery, it usually works. And when you do a clean job, bloodless field, and meticulous one, I think people do very well.
Because you insist on a meticulous surgery room.
Yeah, meticulous, precise, and efficient.
Clean.
You should not be too slow. You should be doing fast but very meticulous work, so that every stitch I do, it's well thought of and successful.
But usually when you think of meticulous, you think of very slow, yet you're well known to be a quick surgeon. How can you balance those two?
Because I'm efficient. That's a very good point. My moves are very slow, but I only do what is needed.
Oh, okay.
When you see a fast surgeon who does a lot of moves, but which are completely useless or not necessary, you think, he's very fast, but it takes him 4 times as long as I do.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I only do what is needed, and I do it slowly, but I only do what is needed. And that's why it becomes very fast and efficient and successful.
Okay. You are a pioneer in several organ transplant surgeries. Pancreas, you performed the first pancreas surgery?
In London, yes. I did the first pancreas transplant, which is for diabetics, to cure diabetes.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you get to this point? Do you do research? Do you practice?
No, actually, I was very fortunate to go to Minnesota to learn how to do pancreas transplants. That was in 93 to 95. And I came back to London. No one had done a pancreas transplant in London. And here I am, a very young surgeon coming in.
How old were you?
I was at that time 36.
Wow.
So to be 36 to do first organ transplant is quite something. Then I landed, I remember very well, it was in January 1995. I started my job on the 1st of January. And on the 31st of January of that same year, I managed to do the first pancreas transplant. So it was quite an earthquake in London at that time. And we're talking about 30
years ago.
Exactly.
How did you feel?
It was a big story in the press because everybody was excited, especially that it went well.
Yeah.
So, when you do a surgery which goes well, everybody talks about it and gives you the credit. Same, applies to, you think about it, the first ever heart transplant in South Africa. Barnard, who's done it, became so famous worldwide because he's done the first ever. Yeah,
that's true. You also did the first hand surgery, am I mistaken?
I was, again, very fortunate to be part of the team which performed the first arm transplant, which is a hand from a dead person transplanted on someone who lost his arm 14 years earlier.
As an amputee.
Exactly. Right. So we did it in Lyon. We were about to do it in London, but then we moved the whole team to Lyon for some reason. Okay. And again, it went very well. That was in 1998. Okay. So again, I was a young surgeon there, and I was representing the UK. I was the British surgeon on the team, which was a multinational team from France, Italy, Australia, and the UK.
So I imagine a lot of organ transplant surgeons travel a lot to perform the surgery, because it's not very
This
common.
was a bit exception because this was in the first ever. We wanted to have a multinational team so that luckily, if it all goes well, we can all get the credit. But if it did fail, at least we would say, we have tried to get the team, the best team ever from all parts of the world. But we were fortunate enough, and this is where luck comes into question, where you have to be not only good, luck plays a big role in whatever you do.
You believe in luck as in how the body reacts to these transplant surgeries in that sense?
No, I think some surgeons are lucky, or some human individuals are lucky. Some people are unlucky. And this reminds me of what Napoleon always said: I don't want to have a good general, I want to have a lucky general.
Oh, okay.
A lucky general, meaning if he goes into battle when the weather is good, when the soldiers are not tired, you have a successful battle.
Right, when there's not a virus going around or something like this.
So this same thing applies to medicine, the surgery. When you are there at the right time, just before the patient is about to expire, and you salvage the patient, then you are a lucky surgeon. You can be a Nobel laureate, but not be there at the right time. What's the point?
Before I met you, I didn't know that we can do arm transplant surgeries.
Yeah, this was the first ever procedure done ever, and now there have been 165 arm transplants worldwide since.
Is this the one that you did a double arm
transplant? No, the first one was the single arm, and then we did 3 years later a double arm transplant on a French gentleman at that time.
Okay.
And I remember distinctly when, after we finished, a year or two later, we went to the Vatican and met the Pope, Jean-Paul II at that time, because the patient was a fervent Catholic. He insisted on going to be blessed by the Pope.
So you went with him?
Went with him, exactly.
Oh, wow, that must have been so touching.
It was very, very nice. He was blessed by the Pope. It was a very nice story.
How long do these surgeries take?
It took around 14, 15 hours to perform.
And you stay awake the whole time, no breaks?
That's
How
why
does that
we have
work?
a team, you see, of 8 people, 8 surgeons. So it went well. And funny enough, 7 years later now, there's a Netflix program being filmed. Actually, they filmed me already in London.
Did?
Yes, it's going to come out, I think, in the new year.
Okay.
Where it's a whole, actually 4 hours of filming for an episode which will come out about the first ever arm transplant.
Oh, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, so we were 8 surgeons, but I was the youngest, so I'm the only one of the only people left on this planet. So that's why they came to me for the interview. Because the other surgeons,
this was a long
3 or
time
4
ago.
of them died already. So
okay. Yeah. Okay. You also pioneered techniques in kidney transplant.
I pioneered techniques in kidney donation, meaning the donor. I developed a very fast, small incision technique, which has been picked up by a few centers. The most recent center I noticed picked it up is Japan, where it is only 45 minutes of surgery instead of
it?
and it's it works very well. And this is what I use when I go to underdeveloped countries like in Africa,
Nigeria
and Ghana, etc. Where I'm going in 2 days' time now. I had to do 6 kidney transplants in 2 or 3 days, because using that technique allows me to finish quicker.
Okay.
And with hardly any complications, thank God.
So it's easier for the recovery for the person who donates the kidney.
Exactly. They go home within 2 days, which is...
Do you remove the kidney and put it in the other patient?
Yes, I have to do both surgeries, so it's quite a demanding task.
Yeah. Do you ever feel stressed?
Not at all. Not at all. And actually, that's why everybody asks me, especially when I go to Africa, they ask... Sorry, but aren't you tired after? Because they feel more tired than I am, although they're not doing the surgery. They're sitting down watching me.
Yeah.
No, but because you see, I think in whatever you do, if you do it, you know what you're doing. It doesn't consume much energy. That's how I feel.
Okay.
And indeed, I fly from London on the night before the surgery. Arrive at 5 a.m, and I'm straight into the operating rooms at 7. So to start,
no jet lag.
No jet lag. No, but it's the same time zone. But I just sleep on a plane 5-6 hours and go straight to the
Is that
hospital.
the training like when you're in residency, when you're obliged to like stay almost
I don't
24
know.
hours?
I'm not sure. A lot of young people can't do it either. So it's a question of. I'm very fortunate to be able to do it.
Yeah, that's true. Just one more quick question about organ transplants, because we have so much to cover. How do you see the future? I mean, would you be able? Do you see artificial organs maybe entering?
I think the future, to be honest, is going to be stem cell therapy.
Right.
Meaning, you can get the cells from the patient himself and produce like islets to cure diabetes. You can produce neurological cells to inject into the brain to cure Parkinson's. You can inject stem cell into the heart to repair damaged heart cells, muscle. I think it is the future. And it is amazing what has been going on in the last few years, only last 2-3 years, where the Chinese, for instance, have cured diabetes completely with stem cells. It's unbelievable. I mean, and I met the doctor who deals with this, and he's done so far 3 completely cured diabetics from stem cell therapy.
So they didn't have to change their organs?
Not at all. It's their own cells.
Oh, okay,
it's
that's
an injection.
fascinating.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Takes
the body
10-15
is,
minutes.
Yeah, the body is extraordinary.
So this is the future. I'm very optimistic about this. This will end up happening. Maybe they can do stem cells into their own kidney cells, so they can revive a damaged kidney.
Is it less expensive? I mean, I'm thinking
it's very expensive now, but it will eventually become much cheaper. It's a bit like electric cars were very very expensive initially, and now they are much cheaper.
I'm just thinking in the sense if it will be accessible to more and more people.
It's bound to be, because if you think about China, so over 1.5 billion population, I'm sure they thought about it.
Well, there's so much to learn. When you've operated on, this is a little bit of a philosophical question. You've operated on people from all over the world. So we're all colors, all races, and everything. When you open up and you see that we're all the same inside, how do you see what's happening in the world, the racism, the polarization, how we're dividing ourselves when we're so similar on the inside?
Yeah, it is a very, very pertinent question. I think anything under the skin, we're all exactly the same.
Yeah.
Exactly. You open a patient who is black, white, Asian, it's exactly the same organs. This is why it's all this racism is truly artificial thing, which has been sadly injected into our brains for some reason. But one day will come, hopefully we will realize that we are all the same. I mean, if you put on this table a kidney from a white, black, Asian patient donor, you cannot possibly say this is from this or another. They're identical.
Yeah, that's true. You should be an advocate against racism.
I always say this, actually. Yeah. And actually, I will go even further. You see, you hear about potential xenotransplantation, which is from animals.
Right.
If you look at the kidney coming from a pig, it's exactly the same.
Which is bizarre. They say that it's the closest to the human being.
Closest. The pig liver, pig kidney, even the dog's kidney is exactly the same. Exactly.
Wow.
I've done a lot of work on canine models, dog models,
you did?
when I was in the US. There's no way you can tell this is not a human kidney.
Oh, I never heard
Identical.
about that. Do they have 2 kidneys?
Yes, exactly. Same
same
bowel, same liver. This is why our creation is a bit bizarre. We must have come from one source initially.
This is
How
fascinating.
can you not explain the fact that we are exactly the same as a dog? Exactly.
Yeah.
No way you can tell.
Wow, that's
If you
fascinating.
take a picture of the belly of an open dog, you can test any doctor and say this is a human. No difference whatsoever. Zero.
Wow, maybe that's why they're man's best friend.
Exactly.
So let's move to music. And when I listened to some of your playing, this is just a small observation for me, I felt a little bit like I was listening to the Pied Piper, you know, in the story, the one who plays the clarinet, and you just have this kind of magical feeling. Do you feel that way when you're playing, like you transport us to another place?
Well, I think I express myself even more when I'm playing, because, you know, you are not speaking. You are just expanding your feelings by the way you play, the tone of the music, the tone of the clarinet, the volume up and down. This is how I feel about the clarinet. And yes, I think you can, in a way, express yourself even more than another instrument, because if you play the piano, you're pressing on the keys. Of course, with the pedal you can change things, but you know, when you look at a wind instrument, you are much more able to express yourself, obviously, if you play well.
Okay. Do you have to do breathing exercises?
Yeah, I mean, breathing. That's the whole thing when you learn the clarinet. What they call long tones.
Right.
For hours. I remember when I was 10, 11, 15. I used to play 10 hours a day, and
wow,
and most of the playing was just long tone, the same note for hours, just to express yourself and to get the right tone, the right. Yeah, the tone is what makes the difference with the clarinet. A lot of people can play technically; they're technicians.
Yeah.
But when you do not have the right tone, it doesn't sound good.
That's a lot of dedication for a child.
Yeah, because I always wanted to do things properly. See.
Yeah, you've been like that since you were
Always,
a child.
yes,
It seems.
Yes.
Is everybody in the family like that?
I'm sure they are. They do the same in their own way. Yes.
Yeah, because you're all accomplished in your own.
Yeah,
each one of your fields.
I think when you do something, you have to do it properly. Otherwise, there's no point. Do it halfway.
Right.
And I think that's why you have to be able to do, whether it's languages, sculpting, music. You have to be good. And to be good, you have to work on it.
Yeah.
Nothing comes just from the sky, waking up in the
morning. As smart as you are, you have to work on it.
Impossible.
How long have you playing concerts?
Actually, I was, I think, 12 or 13 when I played my first solo with the orchestra in Lebanon at that time.
Okay.
But then I still play concerts. I was in Paris in November. I played with an orchestra from Tuscany. They came all the way from Tuscany to play. Beautiful orchestra. Yeah. We played together. I played the Mozart concerto solo with them, and a few other pieces.
Yeah.
And I played in Lebanon a few days ago at the Phoenicia.
You were honored also at the same time.
Actually, I was playing yesterday at one of the. Right. After I was honored, I was asked to play, so I played.
You played My Way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, after this, I'm going to the casino in Lebanon here in Beirut to play one particular music for the Murex door, because they asked me to contribute to the event, which is taking place, I think, next week, but they're pre-recording.
Do you think that recently you've been playing a lot more in Lebanon? Has it just
Lebanon,
happened by
I haven't
chance?
played. This is the first time I played in Lebanon.
Do you want to connect back to your roots?
Well, I mean, if I get invited, yeah. And actually, in 2 weeks' time, I'll be in Latin America. I'm in Colombia again, giving a lecture on music, but they asked me to play some Colombian music, so I'm preparing for that concert too. So
that'll be beautiful.
Yes, so they send me some music I've never played before, but you have to learn it and read it. And I'm very fortunate that I can read music.
Mm-hmm. It's a language on its own.
Exactly. I always tell actually my children who play the piano, you have to practice reading, because you see, it's a bit like a language. If you can't read the book, how can you understand it? And you have to read well. And I'm very fortunate still to be able to pick up a piece of music and a sheet of music, and I can read it. Mm-hmm. I don't read it. My fingers read it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't read. My fingers will automatically play that particular note on the clarinet.
Okay. They know already.
Before I have even thought what the note is. It's
really?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Okay, do you think your hand thinks for itself?
Yes.
Wow.
It bypasses the reading goes straight from the sheet of music, my brain to my fingers, before I even realize what I've played, music-wise. Like if you ask, what's this note? I have to think about it. But my fingers have played it already.
Oh,
I don't know. Nobody has mentioned that to me before, but this is how I feel.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. That's the first time I hear this.
This is why I'm addicted to reading music. Okay. I'm not that type of musician who likes to improvise.
Right.
Because I like to be perfect in what I do.
Yeah.
Some people are gifted to improvise, but they're not good readers.
Okay.
They give up reading.
Right.
I prefer to be able to read, because this way when I go to Colombia, they put the sheet of music, I can just land there and play it.
So you're more well prepared.
And when you are much better prepared, you play rich music like Mozart concerto, Weber concerto. This is not, you can't improvise. Right. You have to, Chopin, you have to read what is on the paper.
Yeah.
Because this is what the composer has composed. You're not here to invent yourself your own contribution. This is how I look at things.
Do you ever compose yourself?
No, I don't compose, but my brother is a great composer.
Have you ever played with him professionally?
Yes, actually when we were in Paris last twice, he played at the cathedral when we played with the Italian orchestra, Notre Dame, etc.
When it reopened.
Exactly. And then we played before that at a medical conference where I invited him to play with me as my accompanying pianist.
Okay.
And it was probably one of the first times I played after we played when we were kids. It was a nice...
How did that feel? That must have been so sweet for you.
Yeah, because we played probably one music we played together when we were 14, 15, 16. And we played it again 50 years later.
That's
so it
a
was
long
quite
time.
A nice, and it was fantastic. You know, I played with him like, you know, as if I'm playing with a professional. I forgot that he was my brother.
Yeah.
Because he is truly an exceptional professional. Mm-hmm. You know,
probably the audience connected even more because of the story.
Yes, it was a very nice. I introduced him as the pianist more than being my brother.
Okay, so you were talking about your hands before. I just want to move into sculpting before I ask you another question. How did you start sculpting?
I started sculpting exactly 30 years ago now, because that was when I was appointed as a consultant surgeon in London, and I wanted to do something else than just being a doctor surgeon. And I was always good at drawing on paper, but not painting, just drawing. And I thought, you know, I'm very fortunate to live in London. There are a lot of art schools, colleges, etc. So I went to one particular one close to my home in Hampstead. And I went there, knocked on the door, and I saw the teacher, the artist there, and I said, I want to start learning. He said, funny enough, we have a lesson tonight. Why don't you stay?
Right.
And I got hooked onto doing it.
It's
and
destiny.
Then within 6-7 months, he came behind me and he said, you know what? One day, and he was genuine, you know, the English, I'm not going to tell you stories. One day, people will ask for your heads. And that was
heads?
Yeah, which was the nicest compliment you can ever have. Because you see, because that was a class for portrait sculpting. So, and that's what happened. You know, 30 years later now, I'm inundated with orders for portraits.
Because you specialize in busts.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I do full body too, but busts are in more demand because people want to see themselves immortalized as such for forever.
The thing is, it's difficult because there's expression in the face, so it's hard to get that perfect expression. It's not like a hand where...
I mean, you know, this is why, you know, when you are sculpting, you are captivating the life back. You are trying to recreate some life from nothing. You start with a piece of clay, and you are capturing the life out of that stone or the clay.
Right.
If you compare it to surgery, surgery, what you try to do is lengthen the life of someone, which is a bit different from capturing life.
Yeah, like a picture.
Exactly.
Right.
You are capturing life when you do sculpting. You are lengthening life and improving life when you do a transplant, for instance. This is why I think there is a lot in common, but they complement each other. And that's why, having done so many sculptures and sculpting, that really changed a lot in the way I deal with my surgical field, because it is a 3D building up art, etc., same as surgery.
Right.
But you become even more meticulous when you do your surgery.
Okay, because your eye looks at things differently.
And this is why I when you look at Leonardo da Vinci, who was himself an anatomical dissector.
Yeah, they used to do it without the knowledge of the,
and that's how he learned.
Yeah.
That's how he learned what the body looks like.
Yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci was a dissector, medical dissector, anatomical dissector, and a sculptor.
Oh, sorry, he was a professional dissector?
Yes.
Oh, okay. He didn't do it in hiding.
No.
Oh, okay.
He was stealing the bodies at night from morgues, yes.
Yeah.
But he dissected. And a lot of the anatomy we use now is based on the books and drawings of Leonardo da Vinci. This is a known fact.
What an incredible
So he
person.
was a sculptor in addition, and obviously the painter. He's more known as a painter compared to Michelangelo, who was more known as a sculptor.
Oh, Michelangelo is more known as a sculptor?
Yes. If you look at David's in Florence and many other sculptures he's done.
Because we automatically think of the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, that's why. He if you look dissect the history about Michelangelo, he hated painting. He much preferred stone.
It was harder for him.
Exactly. Not harder. He didn't like it.
Oh, he just didn't like it. Yeah. Do you think that your knowledge of anatomy helped your sculpting?
Maybe indirectly, but it's unconsciously, I would say, because when you do sculpting, you are looking at the 3D superficially, but you have to imagine what's underneath that skin.
Yeah.
But I think I was fortunate enough to have learned anatomy before. Right. Then I didn't have to make the effort to learn anatomy after starting to learn sculpting.
All the bumps and muscles.
Like
and
a lot of
the
pure sculptors take anatomy lessons.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Lessons, yes, to see which bone is under here, or the jaw, etc. They have to, or the ear, or the cartilage of the nose, etc. They have to learn.
Right. You've done busts for very famous leaders, if you want, in the world. Donald Trump, for one. He loved the bust. He now has it in Mar-a-Lago, for example. You did Zelensky, Putin, who was Queen Elizabeth, Boris Johnson. There's a whole list of notable
list, yes. I just get inspired by the fact looking at the pictures either on TV or.
Oh, really? I was gonna ask.
And then I say, let me do it, like the one I've done of Kim Jong-un, for instance.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that one.
People will laugh at it, but who else has been invited to North Korea?
Yeah, how could you get inspired to do a bust?
Because I liked the smile, and I thought I'd like to do it. Then when I've done it, the way it reached North Korea, I contacted the embassy of North Korea in London.
Yeah.
I called the number and then hang up the phone, saying, why are you calling? But then send an email. So I sent an email. Okay. I said, I've done the sculpture of the Supreme Leader.
Oh, you said the Supreme Leader.
And then I said, why? As if it was...
they're wary of what's the intention.
And I said, because, I have a lot of respect for him, because I had to say something which will be well received.
Okay.
And as soon as I said that, they said, perfect, we'll come and have a look at it.
Okay.
So they came, they visited me at my studio in London, and loved it so much. And within 3 months, I was in North Korea.
That's incredible.
Which and then that particular sculpture is in a museum in North Korea because they liked it so much. Within 2 weeks of arriving to North Korea, they have already put it in the museum, and I've got pictures of the...
I only know of Donald Trump, who went to North Korea. What was the experience like for you?
Actually,
he didn't go to North Korea.
He just at the borders, yes. But I have to say it's a country like any other.
Okay.
I've heard the most beautiful music being played in North Korea ever.
Oh, okay.
I remember I went actually with my son. There was a concert where there was at least 20 grand pianos playing together.
Wow.
Yeah, in a football
Field,
etc. And they played the same music all at the same time of classical music. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, for them to be all in
Exactly.
sync. That's incredible.
It was incredible. So there's a lot of quality too. I mean, of course, there might be some good and bad in every country. I'm not here to judge, but what I've seen was very positive.
And you also attended the university. You gave a conference.
Yeah,
there
I gave lectures
okay.
at the university. They welcomed us very well. We stayed in a very nice hotel, good food. They looked after us very, very well.
That's an unforgettable experience.
Yeah. And we were welcome. Our passport was not stamped. It was absolutely very well. And I have good relationship with everyone.
Right.
We are all human. We just spoke about the way our body looks like inside. We're all the same.
Right.
This is all artificial. The way we hate each other, kill each other. It should not happen.
Those invented stories.
Exactly.
Yeah. We didn't mention that your son is also an organ transplant surgeon.
Yeah, he's a halfway his training. His name is David, and he actually accompanies me to Africa when I go, because that's the only way he can learn a lot and fast and perform surgery with me helping him and teaching him my technique and the way I do it. And that's why I'm very fortunate to be able to have him with me so that I can teach him.
Yeah. It must feel very special for you to have him by your side.
Yeah, I'm here. I like to teach, and I think we should be selfish in a way and at least teach our own children as much as other surgeons.
I was looking up at all of your sculptures. You did also the David version, which is beautiful. I got to see it in your garden. I was very lucky for that. And my favorite, to be honest, was the kidney coming out of the alabaster with the hands holding it. Yeah,
this is something I'm very proud of. It's a marble sculpture, alabaster actually, which I've done in London. I was just given a piece of marble, and I thought, what am I going to do with it? And I just got inspired to do a kidney, the whole kidney, life size, and then I wanted the kidney to be held by two hands.
Yeah.
And then I ran out of marble.
Oh, you did?
There was the thumb I could do, but then the fingers I could not. There was not enough marble, so I converted the rest of the fingers to the wings of an angel. So it turned out to be the right thing. Then the angel is carrying the kidney and offering it to the loved one.
Okay.
And believe it or not, it's now I delivered it to the WHO in Geneva, and it's going to be on permanent exhibition in Geneva in the Hall of Art at the WHO, because it represents transplantation.
Right, that's beautiful.
So
it's funny because your sculptures are being put around the world, actually.
Yes, I'm very fortunate. Now I'm counting up to 22 countries where my sculptures are. Which is, for a non-professional, is not too bad.
My favorite bust is Chopin.
Yeah, Chopin is
so well done.
At the
Polish airport,
Polish Warsaw Airport, which is called after Frederick Chopin, because Chopin is Polish.
In the VIP lounge.
Exactly. His father was French, but the Polish are very fanatic about him being Polish, and he always thought he was Polish more than French. He spoke French with an accent, actually, and that's why although his name sounds French, but he always felt Polish. Okay. And he always wanted to go back to Poland. And actually, the French even laughed at him when he spoke French, because he spoke with a very strong accent, Polish accent.
I love it's really, really well. I don't know, there was something that touched me about that one, maybe because it's music and everything.
Yeah, and I'm very fortunate that it's there at the VIP lounge, and it will be there for many years to come. This is what I like about sculpting. At home I've got some sculptures that are maybe 2,000 years old, and whenever I look at them, I said, whoever has done this, now I'm looking at his work, but he's long gone. And the same thing probably will apply to me when I'm long gone, where people will look at the sculptures and say, this guy died 500 years ago, but he's done something which is still here.
You also have the generations of people's lives that you've saved.
Yes,
They will be lasting.
As I mentioned earlier, you see, you plant the seed when you do a transplant. I remember not too long ago, I was traveling from Heathrow on the Terminal 2, I remember, and the customs security guy waved to me, Indian looking, and he said, smile. I said, why is he smiling to me? And he said, showed me his bag. He said, you don't remember me? I said, no. Sorry. He said, no, Professor Hakim, you transplanted me 25 years ago. So that answers the question about what you do today. You'll get the fruits in 25 years, 30 years. The sculpting, many more years to come, because the sculptures will always be there.
How many lives have you saved? Have you counted?
I think I must have done at least 3,000 kidney transplants or transplants as such, and pancreas transplant. But, I've done many, many surgeries in the thousands. This transplant is one thing, but I do all the other surgeries.
Oh, you do other surgeries besides organ transplant?
I do bowel surgery, gallbladders.
Okay. That must be like...
varicose veins, the whole lot.
You do all of those things also?
I've been very busy over the years. Yes.
Do you listen to music while you're sculpting, while you're operating?
When I'm sculpting, definitely. Like when I sculpted Chopin, I was listening to Chopin music to inspire me.
Yeah.
When I sculpt other people, like I sculpted Andrea Bocelli, for instance, and his sculpture.
You did? I didn't see that one.
It's in his museum in Tuscany. I was listening to him. Darwin. I did the sculpture of Darwin. I was listening to his books.
Oh, you were listening to his books?
On Audible, so I was listening to his books.
That's interesting.
And it's inspiring me, because he's there in the room, I'm listening to him, and I'm sculpting him.
You feel them.
And I believe this made a big difference.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yes. Did you meet Andrea Bocelli?
Yes, of course.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I met him.
Wow.
And I offered him the sculpture, and he was touching it, obviously because he's blind, as you know. So having a 3D makes a big difference.
Sorry for the question. Do people commission you for busts also? Okay.
Yes. The things I do for when I decide to do them, like for Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un, obviously I do it for my own pleasure. But obviously people who commission me, they order the sculptures, yes.
Do you think that art and surgery are a little bit interchangeable as an artistic or creative qualities? Because surgery can be creative at the same time.
Of course. I mean, I think it's they're both 3D procedures. One thing I always say, people ask me which is more difficult. And I would say, believe it or not, sculpting is more difficult because it's a point of no return. If you are sculpting out of a marble and you make a mistake,
the whole
you can't plaster it again. You can't. Surgery, on the other hand, if you do an incision which is a bit crooked, eventually it will heal itself, and you will not see the scar. And that's why we are very fortunate to have been created by God as a human. When you do the surgery, you finish, you close the skin, it's still gaping, but a month later it's all cured and healed. Sculpting is not the case. When you do a crooked nose or a crooked, whatever you do, it will always be there. 100 years later, 2,000 years later, it will always be deformed.
Right.
That's why you have to be perfect from day one. That's why I say that sculpting is more difficult.
Do you think that art can unite people?
Music unites people, by definition. It's an international music. And of course, art, whenever I go on workshops in Italy, and I do quite a lot of it in Rome and in Florence, I meet sculptors from all over the world, South Africa, Mexico, Brazil, Italy, etc., Australia, and we're still in touch because all we have in common is that model standing there, and we are sculpting out of one model.
Right.
And each of us does it his way, and we compare notes. And over the years, we become friends because we follow each other's progress and see how they have advanced in their skills in art.
There's something that connects you all together.
Yes.
What have you learned about life? Because I don't want to say you're playing with life, but you're, I don't know, managing life, is that a better word? And you're adding to life's enriching through culture. What do you feel about life? Do you have like a different kind of meaning for life?
I think the meaning of life for me is you have to realize on a daily basis that it's a very short life. Even if you live under 100, it's still very short. Think about it. Out of the millions of years humans have been on this planet. That's why I feel on a daily basis that we have to be extracting from every single second something and not wasting our time and waiting for us to die one day, because a lot of people, that's what they do. They wake up in the morning, go to the coffee shop, sit down, wait for them to go back to bed. That's not life. I feel that we are all here on this planet to achieve something and leave behind us a trace of what we've done. This is why I like the idea of art and sculpting, because whether we like it or not, a marble sculpture, a bronze sculpture will be there forever. And that's why I like your question about life. Life has got an end, but you can make it last much longer if you produce something good on this planet.
Right. What are your future plans? Anything special?
I mean, I'm hoping I'll remain healthy enough to carry on doing surgery for longer. I feel that I can, at least if I stop doing surgery, carry on doing sculpting, because nobody can stop me, because I know some sculptors who are 95 who can still do it.
Wow.
Music, I can carry on as long as I can blow enough into the clarinet. And I do not smoke, and I am hopefully considered to be fit enough to blow enough into the clarinet, because that's what is so important with the clarinet.
Do you still do breathing exercises, or that's it, you're used to it now?
No, I play long enough to be able to exercise my lungs enough. And I think despite my advanced age, I can still blow very well.
Yeah. I think your focus is wow, and your time management, I'm sure like all of this has helped you accomplish everything that you have, and besides your dedication also. And
I mean, time is, as you say, time is money, and I think it's so true, because you should not waste your time, and wasting your time on arguing with people and fighting with people doesn't lead anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's why just the way I deal with people who, let's say, I dislike, they are, as I can't remember who said this, but they consider them to be corpse, because there's no time. There's no time to go back and
rewind
and readjust relationships with people who do not deserve it. I just turn the page, and I want to be with people who are as productive as I am, if not more, so I can learn from them, and we can then complement each other and build that relationship to advance much more.
Yeah, you can inspire each other.
And not delay advance, because some people, we have to admit, do not like people who are successful.
No, they don't.
They prefer to be with mediocre people all the time because they feel mediocre.
And they stay in a closed bubble.
And they want you to be as bad as they are mediocre. They're trying to stop you.
Yeah. It feels so much better to be generous with yourself.
That's why I always say, you see many more people at funerals than at weddings. Because people are probably, half of them, happy that particular guy died. They go to make sure he's dead.
That's very pessimistic about human nature, Dr. Nadey.
and weddings, you have met less people, because many people are happy for whoever is happy.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
That's how I look at it. I mean, I'm exaggerating a bit. But
of course. It's just for the example. Yeah.
Exactly.
Where can people find you? if they want to keep up to date with your sculptures,
Well, I'm
playing?
on fortunate enough to be on Instagram and Facebook,
Right.
and I think I post my sculptures, and I'm always happy to have critics telling me whether they like it or they didn't like it, and I think we are very fortunate to have this technology now with the WhatsApp, and because I consider it to be a bit of a micro autobiography, because we have it on a daily basis if need be, and then you can go back and see what you've done 10 years earlier
when it's used correctly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is why I have two different
accounts?
WhatsApp accounts, because one is for
Instagram,
surgery.
you mean?
Instagram.
Yeah.
One is for surgery, which is the serious one. One is for art and music.
I'll put both links in the description. And the last question I ask all my guests, what makes the ordinary extraordinary?
I think I would say that in every ordinary, there's extraordinary. It's the way you look at it, the lens you use to look at the ordinary and extract what is extraordinary. And I think what makes extraordinary from ordinary is the hard work. Hard work is the key. It's nothing to do with skills and talent. Of course, you need it, but it's much more important to be hardworking than to be too skilled, because a lot of people are skilled, they don't use that skill.
Yeah,
that
they
talent.
don't develop it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know it reminds me, your question reminds me of Michelangelo, when he was always told 500 years ago, "Oh, you're a genius, maestro, you're a genius." And what he said summarizes what I really think. I only found out what he said recently when I was preparing a lecture for the Royal Society of Medicine. He said, if people only knew how hard I've worked on this mastery, they would not say I was a genius.
Oh, okay.
Which is so true.
I don't remember that quote. Yeah.
It's an incredible, deeply rooted saying, which summarizes every one of us.
Yeah.
Hard work, even Michelangelo, even the best musician who plays fantastic piano. You think he woke up in the morning and started playing like this? Of course not.
He played for hours.
Millions of hours.
Yeah.
When I do my sculpture, people say, "Oh, how many days did it take you?" I tell them it took me a minimum of 100 hours. Minimum.
That's besides all the practice that you did over
Exactly.
the years.
100 hours is not a lot of hours.
Yeah.
People take 9 months, 1 year to finish a sculpture. But I finish it quickly now because I am very efficient with my timing. And I want to be as perfect as possible in what I produce, because you can't go wrong with what you produce as a face, as a sculpture. It has to look like the gentleman or lady.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they don't like it.
It's really well done, really, when people go in to see the resemblances. It's really well done.
Thank you so much,
And I have
Patricia.
to appreciate so much your kindness for coming and sitting with me today.
My pleasure, Patricia, and I wish you best of luck with your 10 questions for many, many episodes to come.
It was a little bit more than 10 questions, but it's okay. Thank you, Dr. Nadey.
Thank you, Patricia. Thanks a lot.